In Indiana, there is a river that behaves like something out of a fantasy novel. The Lost River flows normally for several miles, then suddenly vanishes into a giant sinkhole and disappears underground. It travels unseen beneath the surface before bubbling back up miles away. In some stretches, it disappears again, as if the earth itself keeps swallowing it. Minnesota has the shortest international land border on the planet, and it's only 91 feet long. This tiny stretch connects the northwest angle to Canada. The strange border exists because early mapmakers made a mistake when drawing the US-Canada line, leaving behind a tiny sliver of land that no one intended to create. A coal mine fire has been burning under Centralia, Pennsylvania, since 1962. It started small, but spread into massive coal seams that stretch for miles underground. The fire is still burning today and could continue for centuries, leaving behind empty streets, smoking vents, and a town almost completely abandoned. Alaska is so huge that if you cut the state in half and separated the pieces, both halves would still be larger than Texas. Its massive size dwarfs every other U.S. state and reminds people just how enormous America's northern frontier really is. In Arizona, Meteor Crater looks like a giant punched a hole in the desert. It's nearly a mile wide and hundreds of feet deep. A meteor, traveling faster than a speeding bullet, slammed into the ground 50,000 years ago, releasing the force of hundreds of atomic bombs in seconds. More than 90% of the paper money in the United States contains microscopic traces of cocaine. The contamination happens as bills pass through counting machines, banks, and wallets where other tainted bills have been. Even fresh bills pick up particles almost immediately after entering circulation. In Kansas, the small town of Liberal still runs a pancake race, with roots going back to the 15th century. Every year since 1950, racers sprint 300 meters while flipping pancakes in frying pans. They compete directly against a town in England doing the same race halfway around the world. Fort Knox holds nearly half of America's gold, locked away behind some of the heaviest security on Earth. The vault has never been robbed, rarely been opened, and only a few people know the full access codes. Most Americans will never see the inside of the building that guards billions in gold. The closest point in the United States to Africa isn't in the south, it's in Maine. If you draw a straight line across the Atlantic from the Maine coastline, it lands in Morocco. The geography surprises many because the upper East Coast curves far more eastward than people realize. For 2 years, the United States flew a flag with the stars stitched in the wrong pattern. No one noticed during that time. Historians eventually discovered the mistake long after it had been displayed publicly, making it one of the strangest quiet flag errors in U.S. history. A small town in New Mexico once printed its official phone book using only nicknames. Residents preferred the names they actually used with each other, so the directory completely skipped legal names and became one of the most unusual phone books ever printed. Some lakes in Yellowstone National Park are so acidic they can dissolve bone. Volcanic gases bubble up through the water and create a chemical mix strong enough to break down organic material rapidly. Animals that fall in often leave almost nothing behind. The Statue of Liberty wasn't just a symbol. When it opened, it functioned as a real lighthouse. A bright light shone from the torch, guiding ships entering New York Harbor for 16 years before newer technology replaced it. The Pentagon contains 17 miles of corridors, yet the building was designed so efficiently that anyone inside can walk from one point to any other point in about 7 minutes. Its layout was built for speed during wartime planning. Louisiana uses a different legal system from every other U.S. state. Instead of English common law, it follows the Napoleonic Code, which changes how contracts, property rules, and legal disputes are handled across the state. The United States once ran a factory so large and so humid that it created its own indoor weather. Moisture collected near the ceiling until it formed real clouds, and workers occasionally saw fog and light rain falling inside the building. In New York, an eternal flame burns behind a waterfall. Natural gas escapes through cracks in the ground, keeping the flame burning even as water pours over it. When it goes out, it usually reignites on its own. California's White Mountains are home to the oldest living trees on Earth. The bristlecone pines there sprouted thousands of years before the pyramids existed, with one living tree nearly 5,000 years old and still standing today. Crater Lake in Oregon has no rivers flowing into it or out of it. All its water comes from rain and snow, and the lake drains slowly through underground lava tubes that disappear deep into the volcanic rock. During World War II, the U.S. built a secret city in Tennessee called Oak Ridge. Tens of thousands of people lived there, but most didn't know the true purpose of their work. They were unknowingly helping build parts of the first atomic bomb. Inside Mount Rushmore, hidden behind Lincoln's head, there is a sealed chamber. It was meant to hold America's most important documents in a special vault. The plan was never finished, but the secret room still sits locked inside the mountain. The Empire State Building is so massive and busy that it has its own zip code. More than 10,000 people work inside on a typical day, turning one building into a small vertical city. In Idaho, a place known as the Zone of Death contains a legal loophole that makes prosecution almost impossible. Because of how jury laws work in that area, a serious crime could theoretically go unpunished. The loophole is known, but still hasn't been fixed. Lake Superior is so large, it holds 10% of all the surface freshwater on Earth. If it drained, it could cover all of North and South America in a foot of water. Its depth and volume make it more like an inland ocean than a lake. During World War II, Japan launched balloon bombs that floated across the Pacific Ocean. Some made it all the way to the U.S. mainland. To protect civilians, the American military dropped leaflets warning people not to touch strange objects in the woods. Across the United States, more than 30 towns sit above old nuclear missile silos. Most are abandoned but still exist underground. People go about their daily lives with Cold War relics sitting silently below them. Whittier, Alaska, is a town almost entirely inside one building. Residents live, work, shop, and go to school inside a single 14-story complex that shelters them from harsh winter conditions. Death Valley once recorded ground temperatures so extreme that an egg could cook instantly on the desert floor. The heat wave shimmered so intensely that the ground looked like it was melting. The Hudson River in New York reverses direction twice a day. Powerful ocean tides push the water inland, forcing the river to flow backward before it eventually returns to its normal course. A small town in Arizona elects a goat as its official mayor each year. What began as a lighthearted prank decades ago became a long-running tradition, complete with ceremonies and celebrations. The Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah are so perfectly flat and smooth that cars regularly reach speeds over 400 miles per hour. The entire area is so level that elevation changes are measured in inches across miles of open terrain. Hawaii has banned all billboards, making it the only U.S. state with no outdoor advertising. The ban preserves the island's natural views and keeps the landscapes free from tall signs. Off the coast of Florida, the U.S. Navy operates an underwater research base. Scientists live and work inside the submerged facility for days at a time, studying ocean life from beneath the surface. The largest living organism in the United States is a fungus in Oregon that spreads underground for nearly 4 square miles. It's so large that it covers more area than many towns. In parts of Montana, dinosaur fossils still erode out of hillsides after heavy rain. Locals sometimes find ancient bones lying in the open, washed free by storms that reveal pieces of the past. The original White House did not include indoor bathrooms. Early presidents relied on outhouses on the grounds, even while hosting important visitors and official events. The Library of Congress is so enormous that its shelves would stretch for more than 800 miles. It houses millions of books, recordings, maps, and manuscripts, making it the largest library in the world. The United States once tested a nuclear-powered airplane designed to fly for days without refueling. The concept worked, but the idea was abandoned because flying a nuclear reactor overhead was considered far too dangerous. In Alaska, the frozen Yukon River becomes a winter highway. Cars and trucks drive across the thick ice as if it were a paved road, complete with speed limits and marked routes. The United States has more ghost towns than inhabited towns. Many were once booming mining communities that emptied out after resources ran dry, leaving behind abandoned buildings and silent streets. Kentucky's Mammoth Cave system is so enormous that large sections remain unmapped. Explorers constantly discover new passages, and its full size is still unknown, making it the longest cave system on Earth. Arkansas is home to the only public diamond mine in the world. Visitors dig through the soil and occasionally find real diamonds worth thousands of dollars, which they are allowed to keep. In 1961, the United States accidentally dropped a nuclear bomb over North Carolina. Several safety devices failed, and only one final switch stopped the bomb from detonating and changing history forever. In Vermont, winter temperatures can be so cold that boiling water thrown into the air instantly turns to snow. The transformation happens mid-air, creating an instant cloud of ice crystals. Under New York City, abandoned subway stations still sit hidden beneath the streets. Many remain frozen in time with old tile work, original signs, and advertisements from more than a century ago. Mauna Kea in Hawaii is taller than Mount Everest, when measured from its underwater base to its peak. Most of the mountain sits below the surface, hiding its true size from the naked eye. Lake Tahoe is so clear that you can see objects more than 60 feet down. Its cold, clean water and protected ecosystem keep its clarity among the highest in the world. The U.S. built an underground city beneath Washington, D.C., designed to shelter Congress during a nuclear attack. It contains living quarters, offices, and months of supplies, though most people will never see it. The oldest continuously operating business in America began in 1613, long before the country was founded. It has survived wars, disasters, and centuries of change, while still serving customers today. Across the country, thousands of abandoned mines lie sealed and unexplored. Many are too deep or unstable to enter, leaving much of America's early mining history hidden in darkness.